it's time once again for another Discovery edition of The Final Cut. And man, do we've got one for you today. Yes, it is the 20th. I can't believe it's been that long already. I am old. The 20th anniversary release of Constantine. Yes, that comic book film starring a younger Keanu Reeves, based off of the property of Hellblazer, I believe it is called. And this came out just a few years before superhero films took hold thanks to the MCU in their first 3 phases. So yeah, this was them still trying to experiment out. And so Constantine didn't do that well at the box office, though you can tell they really were hoping to make this into something bigger. Everybody involved, especially, were all into it, especially Keanu Reeves, into the Constantine character, but it kind of missed the mark, and it missed the mark with the mark here. I wasn't too impressed when the film came out. On the rewatch, I enjoyed it more, and you can check my in-depth thoughts on it on Ian Simmons' Kicking the Seat podcast, where we go in depth on how we feel about Constantine 20 years after first seeing it. So what about this release, though? Well, we're looking at the 4K Ultra HD release put out just recently by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. So let's get up close and personal with it, shall we? And so here we are, John Constantine, the slipcover, reflective surface, gorgeous art, Constantine in the middle, heaven above and hell down below that hellscape. And yeah, I just dig this artwork. I think it was really well done, and the fact they made this whole thing reflective really helps make it stand out and just feel it special for 20th anniversary, right? With this font and everything, and Keanu looking as badass as he could for a young Keanu. Though I think a beard, some facial hair would help, as we've seen with John Wick. So, but yeah, I still like the design of this slipcover and this art for sure. And then the spine, there you go. It's going to stand out, that Constantine font and more reflectiveness going on. So I appreciate that you can see that while it's on your shelf. And the back, production stills, a list of just a few of the special features, which we'll get into in a little bit. So yeah, I really dig the slipcover, and I always try to keep these because they're always slick. Most of the time, and really help protect the film and the case. And here we are, the case, like always, the artwork is the same as what it was, except with this one, there's those credits, which, yeah, there were a lot of people involved in this. The spine here as well. So if you lose the slipcover, you'll still be able to tell it on your shelf, and the front, which is the same as on the slipcover, but there's no reflectiveness on this artwork. So as far as the disc and stuff goes, yeah, they put some etching on there, which is nice. I really like that. They put that design on here, making the disc feel a little special rather than going with a solid color. So I really like that. And your digital code, which will expire in 2 years, March 31st of 2027. So you got a couple of years before you need to turn in that digital code. But yeah, so they do very well with the physical release. But what about all the features and such for it being a 20th anniversary? Well, most of these features are going to be ones that were previously released, but we do have filmmaker commentary in here, which always can be interesting, getting those little tidbits as you watch it. We used to have, pop-up video in that, so the vocal version of that. Commentaries are great because you can either tell how enthused the filmmaker is on it, or how they're trying really hard to keep things interesting. And then we get 2 Decades of Damnation, which is a 15-minute special where Keanu and the original director get back together and retrospective look at the film and how it affected them and their experiences and the fondness they have for Constantine, which I didn't realize just how much fondness Keanu Reeves had for this film until we saw recently him talking about getting a sequel made. So yeah, you can see he really loves this character, which is why he wanted to play it. Then we get Channeling Constantine. That's an 8-minute special talking about creating the character from comic to screen, influences and such. Director's confessional is interesting. I liked this because this confessional gives you that motivation from the director of why he wanted to make this film and what he had to do in order to get this film made. And that one was definitely, I'm like, oh man, okay. Yeah, so that's about 5 minutes. Collision with Evil, where they're talking about, how they portrayed the bad guys and such. It's a little over 4 minutes. Holy Relics, to talk about the interesting props and production design that they did for Constantine. I always love when they explore props and such and that, and getting to see the behind the scenes detail of how they designed things and such. And so Holy Relics talks about that. Shotgun Shootout is only 2 minutes, but it gets to feature the stunt workers who were involved in the massive climactic shootout that Constantine has with all of the demonic possessed folks at the climax of the film. Hellscape is 12 minutes long. And that's where they really go in depth about using CGI and the challenges of that, using early CGI, how extensive they wanted to make it, and designing the hellscape, the concepts of that, of what went into creating hell for when John Constantine jumps between Earth and hell. Visualizing Vermin is a 9-minute feature showing the practical and CGI effects they did in making the creatures of hell and those that really cause problems for John Wick, Constantine, for the film. Unholy Abduction. That one I think is my favorite. Unholy Abduction is my favorite because that one really goes into how they did the Rachel Weisz's character gets abducted at one point, and what they originally wanted to do, what they ended up doing, and how they went about it, which include miniatures, which I didn't realize that's what they did. Yeah. It's very impressive and probably my favorite special out of all of these that they had. Demon Face goes into Balthazar's makeup and the actor talking about what went into that. Constantine Cosmology was 5 minutes as well, going further into the world of Constantine and the design and makeup and such. And then Foresight, the power of previs. This 13-minute special talks about the pre-visualization they use, the CGI polygons and such, to block out every scene that they had in this, and the challenges of, how that helped and maybe not so much helped them. And I that's also interesting. If you're looking at some earlier effects, as how they developed and where they came from, the CGI effects, that one you'll probably want to check out. A Writer's Vision is a weird one. That's only 1:19. I know they included it. It talks about the writer's kind of how he went about writing the script, involving a poem in that. And, it was kind of interesting. It just really feels like we need to fill out another minute to make it over 2 hours or something of specials. I don't know. And then deleted scenes and alternate ending, 18 minutes. You can see why these scenes were cut or trimmed up from their original version. I think the versions in the film make the film move along a lot better, but there are some interesting character tidbits and such in the deleted scenes that fans may find interesting if you don't have it already, because most of this content, if not all of it except the retrospective, has already been released. So there you have it, folks. Constantine, the 20th anniversary 4K Ultra HD release. If you're a big fan and looking to upgrade your copy, you'll want to check it out. If you're on the fence on whether or not you get it because it looks awesome, which is great, because with how old the special effects are, you wouldn't think this was going to look as awesome as it does, but it looks really good. The effects look really well done, which shows you the care they put into them when they first made this film. It is just unfortunate it wasn't popular at the box office. It was a flop, but it has gone on into a cult status, and many people have grown to appreciate this movie. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Help us get to 4,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.